Yeah, we knew Georgia had it the entire time, right? Georgia winning 30-21 over Missouri. We're looking at our monitor here. And Georgia winning this game, their 26th consecutive regular season, or 26th consecutive game that Georgia has won. A big win for Georgia, 30-21 over a very tough Missouri Tiger football team. I tell you, Missouri is a very good football team. Eli Drinkwitz is a good coach, and he's recruiting at a pretty high level as well. So Missouri is a team to watch in the SEC, in the years to come. Now, after this year, apparently there won't be an SEC East. It'll just be the SEC. But Missouri, very impressive today coming into Sanford Stadium. But also, you gotta give it to the Georgia Bulldogs today. And not exactly the best game of the season for Georgia. But in the second half, Georgia really stepped it up. And how about Nazir Stackhouse? I mean, with the interception and rumbling and stumbling and bumbling all the way down to about the 5-yard line of Missouri before, of course, the penalty brought the ball back. But a big win for the University of Georgia. So we'll give you the opportunity to give us your impressions of this game. We'll check quickly the stats, try to update the stats and give you the stats here. Final game stats. Georgia had let's see, I'm sorry. Georgia had 385 yards total offense. Missouri had 363 yards total offense. Missouri had 2 turnovers, 2 interceptions. The Javon Bullard interception, of course, in the fourth quarter, a huge turnover for Missouri. Georgia had 21 first downs. Missouri had 22 first downs. Brady Cook he was 14 of 30, 212 yards, a touchdown, 2 interceptions. Carson Beck, a very good day, a decent day, 21 of 32, 254 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Dejon Edwards, 16 carries, 77 yards. Ladd McConkey, big day for Ladd, 7 receptions for 95 yards. Just looking over the Kendall Milton had 9 carries for 44 yards. Robert Thomas, 3 receptions, 36 yards. Oscar Depp had a good day, 3 receptions, 33 yards. Lovett had a good day receiving for 4 receptions, 33 yards. Dejon Edwards caught 2 passes for 28 yards. Nazir Stackhouse, I mean, that was a lot of fun to watch, to be honest with you, with a interception that he had, and then he rumbling and stumbling all the way down to the inside the red zone of Missouri before of course, before the ball was brought back because of the penalty. And Peyton Woodring, 3 field goals. He was 3 for 3 in field goals. His longest 48 yards, 3 for 3 at extra points. Peyton Woodring, a freshman kicker, the high school kicker of the year last year. Now he's a freshman kicker for the University of Georgia. Keep that name in your head, Peyton Woodring. He's going to go down, I believe, as one of the best kickers ever. At the University of Georgia. So a big win for the Bulldogs. Let's see. Amber says, go Dogs. Indeed. Raymond Huffman says, let's go Dogs. Victory is ours. I'm exhausted. I am too, Robert. Boy, that took a lot out of me, I tell you. But way to go, the Bulldogs, with a big win today for the University of Georgia. Sorry for the lighting that we have in our studio. We had a light to go out. And always something like that happens, of course, at the most inopportune time. But a big win for Georgia today. So where does that put Georgia now? Georgia goes to 9-0 on the season. And really, this doesn't clinch the SEC East for Georgia, but it does put Georgia in the driver's seat. Tennessee still has to play Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not right. Tennessee still has to play Missouri. I'm sorry. And so that's going to be a tough deal for Tennessee. And I think, if I remember correctly, that game might be in Columbia. Um, big win today for Georgia. Really helps Georgia's chances now in the SEC East. So what's next? The Ole Miss Rebels come to town next Saturday. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to have to go through this all over again with Ole Miss with a big win today over Texas A&M. That game was in Oxford, and the final score in that game. Let's see. Texas A&M missed a field goal at the very end of the game to lose that game. A big win for Ole Miss today in Oxford, and let's see, trying to find the score for that game. But anyway, Ole Miss winning today big time, and I seem to have lost the score. But a big game for Ole Miss. So they come to town to take on the University of Georgia next Saturday. Ole Miss will be ranked in the top 10. So, again, you have to deal with a ranked team next Saturday. There it is, 38-35. Ole Miss winning over Texas A&M today. Georgia will have to deal again with another ranked team, probably a top 10 ranked team. Depp, Oscar Depp had a very good day coming into his own. Oscar, I think Oscar, it really takes it upon himself, is taking upon himself the mantra of Brock Bowers. I mean, he hears it a lot that Brock Bowers, the best player in college football, is out, and now Oscar is stepping up. And, Oscar had a very good game today, 3 receptions, 33 yards, and he blocked very well. Oscar also had a touchdown reception today. But Oscar, as you know, tight ends have to block, and Oscar blocked very well today. So just a good day for the University of Georgia, a big win. So Alabama now is coming on. Alabama and LSU. We're looking at our monitor. What was Oklahoma and Oklahoma State? They call that the Bedlam. The Bedlam. And I think this may be the last year for Oklahoma and Oklahoma State. So I don't know, which is a shame. That would be like Georgia and Auburn not playing again. Jimbo says Beck still doesn't impress him. Listen, Carson's a very good quarterback. He had a good day today. His leadership, this team is really behind Carson Beck. And that means a lot. This team is solid behind Carson Beck. And this team loves Carson. And they're going to have his back. Ole Miss doesn't have much of a defense, to be honest with you. So I'm going to look for a shootout next week. It probably will be close, at least for the first half. But I think Georgia's defense eventually will, kind of stifle the Ole Miss offense. So it's not going to be easy, I don't think, for Georgia against Ole Miss in Athens next week. But Georgia, I feel better about Georgia and Ole Miss than I did about this game, Georgia and Missouri. I think Georgia will be able to handle Ole Miss. Ole Miss's defense is not what the Missouri defense is, not by any means. And they do have a good offense, and you got a pretty innovative coach, Lane Kiffin, on the other side. But I think Georgia sets up now really good. Yeah, Carson is just fine. I agree. Carson is playing a very good quarterback, and the big thing is he manages well. He doesn't make big mistakes. And this team is solid behind Carson back, and that is so important. The quarterback needs to be your leader in so many ways, and Carson Beck is that leader. And this team, whether the fans are behind Carson totally or whatever, the team is. I can guarantee you that, and that's for me, that's a very important thing. Yeah, I think Georgia is built to win shootouts, Jonathan. I really do. Listen, I can't say I'm not concerned about Ole Miss. I would be concerned if Georgia was playing, Valdosta High School. That's just the way I'm built. I'm from the Larry Munson school of, oh no, oh woe is me, and we're going to play this team, and can we possibly win? That's just the way I am. Um, and so and it's college football, and the season now has progressed to this point, and everybody hurts. Everybody's hurt. Everybody's injured to some extent. Everybody's got a nick or a knack and that kind of thing. The grind of the season is pretty tough. And and now for Georgia, you're really in some pressurized games. Now they've gone through the first two games of this gauntlet that we've talked about. Florida, which by the way had a horrible loss to Arkansas today. Florida just had a terrible loss to an Arkansas team that was really reeling. And Arkansas goes into Gainesville and beats Florida today, which probably will seal the deal with Florida maybe not even making a bowl game this season. That was just a terrible loss for Florida. But Georgia won over Florida. And then, now Georgia has won over Missouri. Now you got two more of this gauntlet. And, you can't overlook Georgia Tech, for heaven's sakes. Georgia Tech is 5-4 now. With a big win today over Virginia. Virginia's not a very good football team, but Georgia Tech went on the road and won that game. So these next games are, we're so used to Georgia winning. We can't conceive of Georgia losing, and which obviously Georgia can lose. So but hey, let's enjoy it. It's hard to think of Georgia losing. And all of a sudden we have to deal with a loss. It's been so long. But certainly, that's possible. But Georgia, a lot of resilience today. I just love Nazir Stackhouse getting that interception. I wish he could have scored without the penalty. You know, I wish that could have happened. He like that was so cool. Bumbling and mumbling and stumbling and all the way down. And of course, that's a defensive lineman's dream to have the opportunity to intercept and go for a touchdown. But Peyton Woodring, that freshman kicker, he was a little shaky. I think he was a little overwhelmed with the college game atmosphere at the beginning of the season. He was a little shaky at the beginning of the season. But now that young man is rock solid. He hit the 48-yard field goal, and it would have been good from 55 yards. The kid can really kick, and he's got a lot of confidence now. He's not shaky. He comes out and he's ready to go. And that's a big weapon, especially as you get closer to the playoffs, to have a kicker with confidence that can, kick the ball from distance. That is a big weapon. And so I'm glad Peyton Woodring is on the team. Carson did a good job getting out of the pocket and getting the first down. Yeah, he did. As much as you want to, as much as some people, and I can understand Jimbo's point. Carson, he has these little tendencies at times to overthrow things. But listen, he's playing as good a quarterback as anybody in the SEC. Now I know you hear about Milroe at Alabama, and then you hear about Daniels at LSU, and you hear about all these other quarterbacks. But right now for this team, I think Carson Beck is the man. And it was a good game today. Georgia didn't necessarily play their best game of the season by any means, but give credit to Missouri. I mean, Missouri is a very good football team. They're 7-2 on the season, and it is conceivable. It is very conceivable that Missouri will not lose another game and go 10-2 in this season. I wouldn't be surprised at that with that at all. And so Georgia really did a good job in containing the quarterback for Brady Cook for Missouri in the second half. Georgia did a good job in containing him. And so there you go. So Georgia wins today. Big win, 30-21 over Missouri. And so, what's up next? Here comes Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin and his boys from Ole Miss. And personally, I like Lane Kiffin. He's for me, I like his I don't know if you call it quirkiness, but his uniqueness of personality. Obviously, he's a very good football coach. He's had many opportunities to be a head football coach. And um, this game brought me, but y'all think back, the man, yeah, I still love my dogs. There you go. There you go. I still love my dogs too. All right, guys, we're going to get out of here. We'll check in with you this week and talk about the Bulldogs as we approach another huge game in Athens. Game day is going to be on ESPN. Game day, I understand, will be in Athens. It's going to be a big one. So we're going to get out of here. We'll be talking more about Georgia during the week and give you the opportunity to share as well. And next week, we'll be right here on station before the game, during the game, and after the game. So a big win for Georgia today. Go get them Bulldogs, get some rest, try to recover a little bit, and let's get ready to go again. All right. Until next weekend, or until sometime this week, we'll be with you. Until then, go Dogs.